Welcome once again to Noah's Snark, where two former religious types and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
I'm Hillary.
And I am Josh, aka... shit, I thought I turned on Bloodsport.
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a movie.
Well, yeah, I've heard of Bloodsport.
That's it.
Oh.
I just thought it was funny. I've had Bloodsport on the mind recently.
It's really random. Is that like the first Rambo?
No, that's First Blood.
Ah, the other Blood one.
Bloodsport is the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie from 1986.
Right, which I'd have no interest in.
Where he punches things.
Yeah, like usual. Classic.
It's a groovy little stupid movie. It's really dumb and it's awesome. It's great.
You should watch it.
Baby Forrest Whitaker's in it.
Aw.
He's not a baby, he's like 25, but
that's what baby means.
It's baby for now.
Right.
Because what is he, 60?
Yeah.
Alright, so before we talk about what we do every week, or what we're doing this week, let's talk about any hits or misses we have.
Okay. I don't think I have any.
I don't have any strong ones. I do want to acknowledge that I am the one who edited Gaither's Pond.
Ah.
And as I just told you, I didn't do it until a few hours before it was released. And I completely forgot until that time. So it's a bit rough. It
isn't really. It didn't seem like it to me. I couldn't tell.
It's not quite what I would have done if I was like not exhausted, because I almost fell asleep doing it. But yeah, I mean, it worked. It's not like there was
good on you. We're all impressed.
Oh, thanks. I did my best. So I just wanted to say, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound that different.
There was nothing we could have done to improve that.
It was really shitty anyway.
It was, yeah.
Basically, I would have like maybe taken a few things and rearranged them to make it a little... But fuck it, I was exhausted and I fell asleep immediately after.
Right, and as I've mentioned, I have a cold, so I would like to do a preemptive apology if I end up sounding real snotty.
Yeah, I get that.
Or if any coughs or sniffles sneak through my editing.
We will do our best.
Yeah.
To not let that happen.
Tried so hard, and I'm going to be a little nasally, I think.
Nah, you're always nasally.
I am, kind of.
Yeah, you're fine.
I am a little bit, though. All right.
So let's talk about what we were doing today.
Okay. Josh, today we're doing a movie called Do You Believe?
Oh. And anybody in our audience might notice, of course, it's movie week. It's movie week.
It's movie week.
But yes, Do You Believe is, as I explained last week, I have the DVD here. It's described by the Christian Post in the back as fast-paced, solid acting, with an amazing musical score.
I don't remember the musical score.
I don't remember the fast-paced or the solid acting.
I think that it was fast-paced. Well, parts of it were fast-paced for sure.
Parts of it were fast-paced.
I'm not gonna lie, Josh. I kind of like this movie a lot.
Really?
I liked it a lot.
Huh. Okay.
And it could be because you've ruined me.
That's fair.
Because everything leading up to this, especially in the more recent past, has been so god-awful.
That's true.
So to speak.
It was eventually going to happen.
Right.
Where you've been so demoralized by what we do.
Right.
That you're going to be like, it was, I liked it.
I'm just really grateful that I can separate this completely from my critiques of actual films.
Yeah.
I can still go to the movies and tell a good film from a bad film.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this podcast, it's getting wonky.
Yeah. Your standards begin so low that when you see something that's marginally acceptable.
Right.
This was fine.
This was more than competent.
Okay.
I enjoyed myself watching this. I didn't have to constantly get myself off my phone. Mm-hmm. Like with Gaither's Pond, for instance.
Yes.
Or the children one.
Well, this is so far probably the closest we've gotten to disagreeing, because this was, for me, another one of those where I was like, why do I do this?
Really?
What do I do?
That's fascinating to me. I thought, yeah.
Now, it is always possible that I was in a mood.
Right.
I just didn't feel like it. I don't know. So
I mean, this made me mourn the possibility of a career that Mira Sorvino could have had if she wasn't blacklisted by fucking Weinstein.
That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, because she had a career, and then she turned him down, and then she didn't have a career anymore for a while.
I see.
It's come out in exposés. Peter Jackson admitted that he was warned not to use her in Lord of the Rings by the Weinstein Company because she was, quote unquote, incredibly difficult to work with.
I see.
Yeah. So I watched this and I was just sad for Mira Because she's a solid fucking actress.
Yeah, she's an Academy Award winner.
Yeah, she
or
was.
something. I don't know what.
A Woody Allen film from the 90s.
Okay. Before it was well known that he was a creepo, too.
Before people talked about it openly.
I see. Well, let's talk about our one sentence that we always do.
Okay.
I want to hear yours, because it's probably more positive than mine.
I was going to say, like the Academy Award-winning film Crash, but watchable.
Okay. I'm not going to disagree with the comparison to Crash. I don't know if I'd call it watchable, but...
Compared to Crash, quite watchable.
You know what? That might be fair.
Yeah.
Crash was really, really bad.
It was really, really bad.
This, I hated it.
Yeah.
It was not as bad as Crash.
Thank you.
All right. So mine, much more severe. And like I said, I could have been in a mood. To be fair, I was prepping ahead, so I did this, like, the day after I did our last thing. So, like, I was trying to make sure I'm ahead of the game.
Right.
So I might have just been warned the fuck out.
Right, because you had to give me this DVD, so you had to watch it way before I saw it.
Right. But I wrote another compilation of raw hot garbage with just a few swerves thrown in for variety. But there were a few. I was like, okay, surprised.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't say I was I was probably a little surprised here and there.
Like, not like, oh, I didn't think that Sean Astin was going to murder that guy.
Yeah.
But just, like...
Spoilers.
I thought that was going one way, and it did not go that way.
Right,
and that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go ahead and talk about it, because it's really long anyway, and I have a lot of notes.
Okay,
so
let's get started.
It's going to take a while.
Let's knock this sucker out.
Pure Flix is here to entertain us, and our very first sight and sound is, I think by now predictably, a Bible quote. Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. So we get some swelling music, and it brings us into a narrator who tells us that they often wonder why we are drawn to things. You know, take this city, for example. 10 million souls, each searching for meaning in their lives. But how many actually find it? How many see the cross? Countless people pass under it every day. They're showing a cross on screen to be like, this big cross. Countless people pass under it every day, but how many really notice it? And how many know what it means? Probably, honestly, most of them.
Yeah.
Because this is America. But let's see, what else do they say? And the narrator says the cross means forgiveness and redemption. But what does that really mean? So it's, here's the thing, but really? Here's the thing, but really? Here's the thing.
This also brings back what I've brought up on this stupid podcast several times. I don't know what forgiveness means, and nobody's been able to tell me, including this movie.
Right. And this is the story of 12 souls who are about to find out. 12 souls who will meet at the cross. And I just wrote, ugh, what an intro. All right, here we go.
You were in a mood.
I was. This intro's not good. This intro's unnecessary, too.
Well, I mean, that quote fits with the movie, so at least there is connection.
Yeah, no, I'm not upset about the Bible quote.
Yeah.
Like, but we could have gone from Bible quote to actual movie without this silly...
Also, I should say that the opening didn't bother me that much because I actually originally thought that the first trailer on the DVD was this movie beginning because it also had Sean Astin in it. Oh, and I didn't know what the plot line to this was because I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
So the trailer at the beginning is like of some football movie with Sean Astin. And I'm like, man, this movie it feels more like a trailer. This opening feels like a trailer. And then it came to an end. I'm like, I'm a moron.
It's because you don't watch DVDs anymore, so like you forget.
Yes, I do. I'm old.
Yeah,
I am old.
You probably
but I didn't know how to skip it because I was using, I'm staying at a friend's house and I was using her PS4, which is not something I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So I was able to get it going, which I was proud of because like I said to you, Josh, I don't know how to work their house.
Yeah, I get it.
It is just electronics and wires and all sorts of things that I tried to use 3 other things to watch this movie before I succeeded with PS4. I put it in the Xbox, couldn't find the Xbox controller, found controller, it was not charged. So I put it in the Wii, I think. Couldn't find a Wii controller, didn't know what they looked like. So I put it in the one plugged in.
Was this all yesterday?
This is this morning. I'm grumpy. I don't have any coffee.
Oh.
The only food I had left was my popcorn. So I was just eating popcorn for breakfast and yelling at electronics.
I really gotta get you out of here.
You also just got a really good visual of Hillary at the age of 80. It's gonna be the same.
Alright, so sirens break in and an ambulance is seen speeding down the street. A woman is dying in the back, but they manage to get her to the hospital while she is still breathing. And this is when we meet Sean Astin.
Yes.
And he's a doctor. And he immediately guesses that she's suicidal, because apparently she was eating Chinese food despite having a severe allergy. This is in her chart. And
And from his point of view, she's asking for it, which is a weird thing for a doctor to say.
That's what I was going to say. He's supposed to come off as a very uncaring, callous doctor man.
Right.
And he comments that it doesn't really appear that the patient cares if they save her or not. So why should he? And now he points out the scars that she has on her, forearm.
She has cry for help scars.
She has cry for help scars. Yeah. Apparently, you can't self-harm as a teenager and then as an adult
be taken seriously by a doctor.
So that's fucked up.
Also, the food allergy thing. I am so scared for people with severe food allergies.
No.
Having witnessed it with my coworker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. She almost straight up died.
She did die.
What? Oh, right.
Well, she died literally. Yeah.
I know, you spooked me.
Was that a high five?
No, I was putting my arm out.
Oh, Jesus.
You scared me. I thought you were saying that right now she is dead
anymore. No, she had to be revived twice.
The doctor, Sean Astin, is called out by one of the nurses for being a shitheel, but the nurse immediately relents when the scars are pointed out, because, it's lame and he's lame, and it's supposed to be like, he's a smart, callous McGann, but she's a Karen nurse, and it's a whole thing. And the nurse is going to be important, so let's just capital in that nurse.
We should also say that pretty much everyone we come in contact with is important.
That's fair. And so the nurse now meets up with her fellow nurse, or doctor, or EMT. It's her EMT husband.
I thought she was a firefighter.
So, I think he works for the fire department, but he's an EMT.
Also an EMT. Okay.
Yes.
That does happen.
He's got 3 names in here because it took me a long time to figure out. I thought he was a nurse.
Yeah.
Then I thought he was a firefighter.
Yes.
Then I realized he was an EMT.
Right.
So we're going to skip straight to EMT.
He's an EMT and a firefighter. There's a lot,
I think there's a
lot of crossover in that. Sometimes it's volunteer firefighters.
Yeah. But she meets her EMT husband in the hospital, and they complain about not having to spend enough time together. And this is where we get the compilation of all of our 12 characters, and I'm not going to bother with most of their descriptions until they really matter.
Okay.
But I made a bet to myself, 5 of them are completely irrelevant to the story.
Okay.
And we'll find out later, but I think it's not inaccurate.
I look forward to hearing your theory on that.
We'll see.
I didn't put that much analysis into it.
So. I was just going in, so I wasn't sure yet. I was just like, I bet 5 of them are pointless.
It's a fair bet.
And so we do find out that our narrator is both the neighbor from Married with Children and a pastor who's picking up this old guy and his wife, who is Sybil Shepherd.
I did not know that he was in Married with Children.
I'm pretty sure this is him.
I didn't watch that show.
Oh, okay.
It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, this guy, what's his name? Ted McGinley.
Oh, yeah, no. Never seen him before in my life.
I'm pretty sure that's the Married with Children guy. He was the sort of dopey neighbor.
Okay.
But then he's made a lot of Christian movies since, that's kind of what his career is now.
Gotcha. Well, a career is a career.
No, I'm not judging.
I
think he was in God's Not Dead 3. Wasn't he the...
He looks like every white man to me.
That's fair. He does.
Nothing distinguishing about his appearance.
In this movie, he's a pastor, so we're going to call him Pastor. And so now I'm done identifying people for now. But since this is started in a hospital, we also meet Joe. And he's a gruff guy who makes small talk with a small child who can't seem to get seen by the doctors. But he goes to the nearest nurse person at the desk or whatever, and he asks if he can give the little girl his spot. Mm-hmm. Because apparently they're having some trouble being seen, and he's next. So he's like, she can have my spot.
Yeah, rough.
It's like, oh, Joe, what a good guy. You're so good. And so now we skip to the streets where we meet a wandering man carrying around a cross and bothering people in the street. And it's fucking Delroy Lindo.
What do I know him from?
He was in The Core. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Gone in 60 Seconds. What else, though?
He's in a lot of stuff. Those are the two.
He looks so familiar, and I didn't look him up. I meant to look him up.
Let's see. He's in, he's often the older, wiser black man.
Right.
So, in any movie you've seen with an older, wiser black man, it's a 50% chance it's him.
It's either him or Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's find out.
I know from something else very specific. Oh, The Good Fight. One of my mom and I's favorite TV shows.
Okay, the show.
That's the one with Christine Baranski and their lawyers. He's one of the other head lawyers.
There you go.
Yep.
So Delroy Lindo from The Good Fight is in this.
Mystery solved. Let's go.
And he is walking around, shouting Jesus stuff at people. And he eventually interferes with a robbery or something by some thugs who we will have to know a little bit better.
Yep.
And he almost gets shot for his trouble because one of the guys points a gun at him and is like, you ready to die for this? And he's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Basically.
Are you?
Yeah, exactly. And Pastor has seen all of this. He's been watching this. And this inspires Pastor to go back to an alley that he had just passed recently, where he saw sort of a pregnant homeless woman.
Pregnant homeless teenager. Yes.
Yeah, and she was scrounging through the trash. So now he wants to go back and help her. So he goes off and he brings her back to his house, where his wife says no. Yeah. And so he drops her... You can't bring
a street child to our house.
So he drops her into a hotel for a few days. Uh-huh. But he drops her off, and we discover the worst possible thing. She was thinking about getting an abortion.
The worst thing. Or she did it... Her parents wanted her to get an abortion, and they kicked her out.
I guess we find that out later.
Yeah.
All right, but back to the thugs. This is where we meet Pretty Boy and Criminal.
Mm-hmm. Criminal with a K.
Of course. So this is Pretty Boy and Criminal. Pretty Boy we've seen before in...
He looks very familiar.
God's Not Dead 3.
Okay.
He was the...
Nope, blocked it out of memory.
Whatever. He was one of the friends.
Okay.
Who was kind of irrelevant to the plot.
Gotcha.
He's also a rapper.
Oh.
Called Swayze.
Swayze?
That's Swayze.
I know Swayze.
This is Swayze.
What was that?
Buggin'.
I fucking love that song.
Buzzin'. Yeah, so he's buzzin'.
Holy crap. Mm-hmm. I haven't thought about that song in a very long time. That needs to go on a playlist. Keep talking.
Pretty Boy seems pretty inspired by Delroy Lindo not being worried about being shot in the face, and so that's going to come back around. So Joe invites the small child and her mom, this is Mira Sorvino, to stay with him tonight, because otherwise they have to brave the very cold night with a sick child on hand, because they are homeless. They have a car.
A lot of very clean homeless people in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, they do have a car, and so they're not completely, like...
Right, but even the girl rifling through the trash looks like she just walked out of her high school.
It's true. But so, with some hesitancy, they accept. Because obviously it's a little suspicious to have a grown-ass, gruff-looking dude be like, why don't you and your little daughter come to my house?
Yeah. No, all sorts of feelings.
But Joe's good.
He is good.
So let's go ahead and precede that.
But not all men are.
No, I know.
Don't do it. Not in real life,
We're casting suspicion on most people, but Joe in this movie is good.
Yeah, this is a magic movie. Magic things happen in this movie. That is not reality.
But we're going back to the pastor, and if you haven't noticed, we're doing a lot of the editing thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's edit this, and then edit this, and then show this, even though it's not necessary for the rest of this.
Right.
And it's not quite as frenetic as a lot of what we've seen, but it is still unnecessary. Like, this entire little cutaway to the pastor, I don't think was even needed.
No.
He's just having trouble writing a sermon.
Right.
He's going to deliver a sermon in the next scene. We don't need to see this.
And he describes what he did the night before in the next scene.
Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah, I get you.
So now the nurse from the first scene gets to see her brother. This is a new character. This is PTSD guy, because he just came back from the military.
There's one in every one of these movies.
Yes. I think he's coming back for like the second or third time. Like he's done this before.
Yeah.
But point is, he's back, and she brings him inside, while Joe, for his part, brings his new friends inside his apartment, and he leaves to go stay with a friend, in his words.
Yes.
But as it turns out, the friend he's staying with is just a cold bench outside.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually have a friend.
His friend who never lets him down is Jesus.
Right.
But Jesus is letting him sleep on a bench.
Joe only makes sacrifices for others, and he asks for nothing in return because, again, this is a magic movie.
Magic movie.
He's basically a magic man.
Yes.
And he's perfect. He's a perfect man. But we're back to the hospital, where Sean Astin checks in on our potentially suicidal patient, and he asks if she... What does he ask her? He says, if you answer this question right, I can let you go. Did you get sick on accident? Mm-hmm. And she says yes, so he tells her to be more careful, unless she wants to see her name on a death certificate.
Right.
And that's basically it. He's like, all right, I'm out. Because she's not asking for help, so I can't help her. Bye.
Right. Rough thing to say to someone with suicide scars, though, too.
Right. So our patient has no one picking her up because even her dad has abandoned her. Apparently she can rely on him usually, but he's done with her now.
Yep.
For whatever. And so now we get...
We never learned that, do we? What happened there?
No.
Huh.
Just, I guess he's too busy or whatever.
Well, she talks on the phone later and mentioned something about, like, not getting along with someone, so I guess maybe he has a step...
Assuming he has a new wife and she doesn't like her. So now we get the pastor narrator, because the narrator is the pastor, Ted McGinley, giving a little monologue about how these dozen souls are all moving in different directions before the cross made its presence felt in each of their lives. And I started counting minutes. It's been about 20. Uh-huh. And we get Pretty Boy and Criminal are going, they're planning some heist or something. And they get a little rousing speech beforehand, like, we can't get this wrong, because this is the whatever, and if we fuck up, then we're all gonna get murdered or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And now we see the pastor, like I said, give the sermon to the church, where, like Hillary said, he describes the trouble he was having. So
right.
It was just an unnecessary part where it's like,
Right.
Boy, this was hard to do, but we have to see it as the audience.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting him say.
Editing.
I had a hard time to do this.
Right.
But he talks about how he encountered Delroy Lindo, and it's changed everything. Because the cross is a gift that's paid for with blood. And while he's giving this sermon, we also see the thugs doing their thug things, and it all goes wrong, just as expected. Pretty Boy and Criminal are the only two to survive, out of at least 4, maybe 5 or 6 guys.
Right.
And Pretty Boy even has a chance to kill the rival gang leader that they're robbing, it looks like. But he doesn't actually take it, and worse still... Oh, I already said that. Everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
But they manage to escape. They get chased by the police, but Pretty Boy is ultimately cornered. And this is when we hear the pastor give us some words about how the Spirit of Christ gives us power over the temptations of the world, while Pretty Boy is trying to escape through the church. Mm-hmm. So Pretty Boy eventually runs through that church, and he gets stopped by Joe, who seems to know that he's escaping from the cops, because he's not an idiot.
Right.
And he sees the cops.
God told him, remember?
Yeah, he did kind of.
Not because there's sirens outside and a guy's running through the hall with a bag.
So Joe warns him. He kind of stops him and says, you should really go inside the church rather than the way you're headed. Because he wasn't obviously going to go into the church. That would be bizarre. It's a bizarre escape strategy. But Jesus has always been there waiting for him. And if Pretty Boy simply chooses to go inside, maybe he'll be there waiting for him there. So Pretty Boy does that. He walks right in. And this is the part where the pastor tells us that we all deserve to die. But if we turn to Jesus, we can live after all. And so the cops come in looking for Pretty Boy. But he puts his head down and sort of prays. And he promises that he will change his ways if the Lord will save him right now. Mm-hmm. And it appears that it works because the cops go away. So Pretty Boy grabs the cross that's like in the pew or alongside.
I thought Joe gave it to him.
Someone gave it to him, but he has a cross now, and he grabs that. And
they handed these crosses out at this sermon, I think.
Yeah,
because that was like the theme of the sermon,
right?
And they come into play everywhere,
right? So everyone has these little, I don't know, like 3-inch crosses.
Yeah, carved.
But basically, Pretty Boy is inspired by it, and he's gonna, show him to the world or whatever. And he stays after the service a little, and he talks to Joe about why he helped him. And this is, at least when I remembered, that Joe said that the Holy Spirit put it on his heart to help.
Yes.
So he did. He's like, all right, I do what they tell me.
Right on.
Or he, it, whatever.
Them,
the Holy Spirit.
Right.
And so now the EMT is dealing with a dying guy on the scene of an accident because he's been hit by a car or something.
I just discovered why it is I really like this movie.
Oh.
Remember that one movie that we watched? There was like the train, it was like dynamic and like somebody almost got killed and it was a lot of like fire rescue and whatever. I fucking love movies that involve like rescue scenes.
Yeah.
I love rescue scenes. I loved Rescue 911 as a kid, and this movie is rife with it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a big climactic one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The part of the movie.
All right, that's fair. Maybe that, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they get some heart going.
But as the EMT is dealing with this dying guy, and this guy is done.
Yes.
Like, he's just got a few minutes left. EMT decides that he needs to tell him about the power of Jesus to save his soul from the clutches of hell. Mm-hmm. And of course it works. Even though this guy is a humanist. He's a non-religious fella.
Right.
But in his last moments, he goes ahead and says a little prayer right before he dies. And then his wife comes over, and she finds the cross that the EMT had and had handed the guy. And she's like, what the fuck is happening? What did you do? But, I mean, it's not unfair.
I can understand both sides of this so clearly. I don't think there is a right or wrong necessarily.
Right. She's like, what the fuck are you? You're supposed to be helping him.
Right.
Whatever. But we're cutting back now to Lily and the sick kid. That's Lily and her mom. And they're going through some of Joe's stuff, mostly looking for food, when he returns with a cough and a bag of food for them. Because again, he is only a giver. And I wrote down, Joe's gonna fucking die. But it's been 35 minutes, so we'll see.
I mean, when we met him, he was like on death's door.
That's true. And so now we find out what Sybil Shepherd's deal is. She and her incredibly old husband. Like, I know, like, they're both probably about the same age, but he seems ancient and she seems fine.
He also, well, I think, he also has, like, medical problems.
Yeah,
like,
that's probably what it is.
That's probably, yeah.
But they are sad because their daughter died. And he goes to clean up her room and Sybil stops him. He says, it's time to move on. The world didn't end when, she died. We've turned our grief into our most prized possession, but God doesn't want that. And, of course, the question is, where was God when the girl died?
Yeah,
You
whatever.
might ask that, and Sybil Shepherd does. And husband says that it was all so the drunk driver who killed her wouldn't take another drink. And hey, everything's okay because the driver cried when he killed that girl too. It's like, oh, okay, that makes me feel better. Thanks.
Yeah, that was the weirdest response.
I'm so glad that he stopped drinking.
Right. Our daughter had to die so that he could get some help.
All right.
Awesome.
And I would clarify earlier when he says, like, our world didn't end when the world didn't end when she died. Sybil's like, yeah, mine did.
Yeah.
Like,
we're all in small worlds. This is my small world. My small world is dead.
yeah. So he now cites the sermon from earlier, that belief is an action. You have to take care of some people who need help. And Sybil's resentful that he's decided to change their whole life just because of a stupid sermon by the dumb guy from Married with Children. Mm. But he's the husband, so she's going to go along with it, at least temporarily. Mm-hmm. So now we get Lily's backstory from Mira Sorvino. Her husband died, and then the bottom dropped out of their life because she was really sad, but she had to get a job, but then she couldn't go to work all the time, then she got fired, and then she lost her house, and she lost everything.
Yeah.
Basically, they have a car.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Which is still, better, but not great.
No.
And she's just in a really rough spot right now. And they got kicked out of their apartment. All their shit was outside in the sidewalk. But Joe reassures her that it's not over yet. God has a way of making bad things good. Only problem is, Mom doesn't really believe in God. Mm-hmm. And I say not really because it seems to be one of those classic...
She's on the fence.
Yeah, like she really does believe. She's just kind of resentful. She's like, why did God let all this bad stuff happen to me?
Right.
But, so you do believe. You're just like upset about it.
Right.
Those are not the same
Once
thing.
again, there are no actual atheists represented.
Never, ever. Yeah. But Lily and Mom eventually leave Joe's apartment. And he offers to let them stay a little bit longer. But Mom doesn't want to stay anywhere that's not permanent because the little girl will get attached and it's a whole thing.
Right.
So as they leave, Joe coughs some more. And this time blood comes up. So, of course, we're supposed to know,
yes.
Oh, he's really dying. Because
of consumption, I guess.
He's got the voice for it.
Yeah, he does.
So, the possibly suicidal woman, and we're just going to call her, what are we going to call her? Suicide Girl. That's a website.
The Suicide Girls. Nice.
So, Suicide Girl gives her dad a call, and this is when you were talking about how she's like, you're not gonna come visit me? Like, we were planning on that this weekend or whatever. He's like, no, I guess I'm busy with my wife.
Yeah, we don't hear his side whatsoever. Right. It's just her responding and being like, she's like, I know she hates me. I hate her too, but we can work this out. Like, it's, I
find it bizarre. Like, hey, I like women too. But assuming I had a child, or let's say this cat that's right here beside me.
Yes.
Someone's like, hey, you gotta get rid of that cat. Be like, I had the cat first. Get the fuck out.
Yep.
I don't understand people like that.
I don't understand so many things about
and this
so
is my
many people.
Second favorite of the two cats I have.
Right.
This isn't even my favorite.
That's just Molly.
Yeah. Ugh.
Gross.
But really, like...
This garbage cat is better than any stranger.
It's true.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
All right, so I don't understand these people. And this is his child, which I would hope means more than a cat.
Right. We don't get any other explanation. So it's not like we find out that, she tried to kill her or, like...
That would be something.
Yeah, anything else. We don't really know the story.
Those arm scars are defensive wounds from when they got in a flat-out, drag-out fight right. And they tried to kill each other. Turns out Sean Astin's just a dick.
Maybe this girl is actually psychotic and, pulled a knife on... whatever. I don't know.
But we assume that's not the case, because you would think it might come up.
Right, no.
Like, okay, fine, I tried to kill her, but, we can work this out.
Right, exactly. It didn't work, so everything's fine.
Yeah, we're good. I've moved on.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Also, I'm assuming he's paying for her apartment.
I guess so.
Because that is a big-ass apartment for someone who doesn't seem to have a job.
Yeah. And so we leave her on this note after the phone call, where she's just crying alone in her apartment. And now we see Sean Astin is at dinner with a lawyer woman, and he's annoyed to see that some people are praying over their dinner. Let's be clear, not his.
Right.
Just theirs.
Right. He calls it proselytization.
And he goes on a rant about how he's the one who saves people, and they always thank Jesus instead. What's the first thing they say when they wake up off the operating table? Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. And I'm standing right there, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And she's like, you have a God complex. He's like, no, I don't. What did you just say?
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm also not a believer. So when I got surgery and I woke up, I was like, hey, thanks, doc.
Yeah. I thanked so many doctors because I injure myself.
Right. And I still mostly agree
I've almost
that, like,
died a couple times.
yeah, like, we could give the people who do the work credit.
Yeah, you can do both.
But you also can do both.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Doc, but, like, if that's really what's bugging you should probably get over it.
Right, yeah. And the lawyer woman seems to be his girlfriend or wife. I couldn't tell.
I think it's girlfriend.
Okay,
Because I'm
girlfriend.
pretty sure she just straight up, like...
Oh, right.
So, back to the nurse and her PTSD brother, who's having a really bad dream. And so, obviously, he wakes up in a fit, and she tries to, like, help him.
Well,
and
she wakes him up, which is something you never do.
yeah, it's literally rule 1.
Right.
Don't touch these people.
Don't touch
While
or
they're,
wake
especially
up
when they're
somebody.
having...
Yeah, so she's nudging him to wake him up, and he wakes up in a frenzy, as, you know, people who suffer from these issues do.
Mm-hmm. So he attacks her briefly, and then her husband tries to defend her, and he attacks him back, and obviously he's in the military, so he wins these fights.
Yes.
But then he runs off into the night because he feels really guilty. He literally leaves the house,
Right.
grabs the little bit of shit he has, and he's like, I'm out forever. and the nurse, his sister's like, no, bro, like, it's fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Go back to sleep. I won't touch you again.
Yeah, but he's like, no, I won't even take your money. Because she offers him like $200.
Yeah,
Like,
there's some pride happening.
yeah, he's prideful and also probably ashamed.
Ashamed and prideful and scared and yeah.
It's not unreasonable. It's
No,
just really...
I get it. It's just, yeah.
So the nurse does convince him to just take her little cross that she got from the sermon. So at least that's something. She did some good, is what we're supposed to understand. And now we're back to the EMT, who, this is when I officially realized he at least worked for the fire department in some capacity. Because he's being yelled at by the chief. Because the wife of the man that he converted before he died is complaining that the EMT refused to care for the husband until he had converted him. Which isn't strictly true from what we saw.
No.
But could seem true from what she saw.
Yes.
Which was her dead husband who does not believe in God.
Right.
Holding a cross as the EMT watches him die.
Yeah. Yes. From her point of view, this makes all of this sense, and I would also be upset.
Yes. And so he's being forced to apologize, basically. And the EMT refuses because he's not remotely sorry, and I'd do it again.
He said he's done it before. He'll do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't apologize, the union's not going to back him. So he's going to be forced to deal with the inevitable lawsuit on his own, and he will lose. Which is basically what they tell him here.
Right.
And so back home, he and his nurse wife discuss the situation, and he says that he needs $20,000 just for a retainer for a lawyer.
Jesus Christ. Our system's fucked.
It is. And of course, his wife just wants him to apologize and do what he needs to do to not get fired and just deal with it. But he trusts God will find a way to provide for them because above all else, he's a damn
magic.
fool.
Oh.
The EMT is a fool. God is magic.
Gotcha.
You're right.
Gotcha.
But it's just like, you just gotta apologize. Like, is it that big a deal?
Or, yeah, just, did he get a chance to talk to the woman and tell her what had happened?
Yeah, that could be an option too.
There could be, whatever it's called, like, where they just sit down and talk.
Mm-hmm.
What's that called?
Mm-hmm.
A legal term.
Deposition?
No.
Arbitration?
No. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Alright, so Pretty Boy is now sad in the rain, and he talks to Criminal about all their dead friends. And he lies to him about finding the money that they apparently attacked the other gangsters for. The Criminal asks, like, did you find the money? Pretty Boy says no, even though he's carrying it.
He said yeah.
He said yeah later.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what, he literally, like, 2 scenes from now is gonna be like, I have the money. It's like, why did you lie then? You've had it for the same amount of time.
I missed that completely, yeah.
This time he lies, but he does take the money and he checks into a hotel instead, which looks like the same one where the pregnant chick is hanging out.
Probably.
And inside his room, he finds a Bible, and he becomes a proper convert right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And I assume they don't really show it, so, but let's assume it's true, because the actions he takes later make it seem like it's true. So the PTSD guy and the suicide girl are both on the same bridge late at night, and they're about to jump off.
The best meet cute ever.
It's so fucking funny.
Yes.
Because he sees her and she sees him.
They're both about to jump on the opposite sides.
Yeah.
They're like, hey!
She doesn't. She's just like, all right, I'm gonna jump on this bridge. But he's like, hey girl.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
What you doing?
What you jumping off the bridge?
I was gonna jump off the bridge. This is crazy.
What a coincidence.
Hey, you wanna get some coffee?
This is literally the conversation.
I know.
She's not exaggerating.
I know.
I think he might say, like, this is awkward.
Something like that. They do kind of acknowledge it. I honestly liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was funny.
It was funny. It's just also so absurd.
At some point, don't they say something like, it's like I thought I'd have a little more privacy.
That's what he said. Yeah. But they end up going to get coffee, and they talk about their feelings and the cross that he keeps fiddling with from his sister. And PTSD guy says that he thinks that it might be what kept him from jumping, besides, of course, the cute girl.
Right.
And she is cute.
She is cute.
So, pastor's wife goes to the hotel to see the pregnant girl, and she apologizes for being like, no, you can't come here.
Right.
And so she picks her up and she takes her back home. Pretty boy gets a call from criminal, and he confesses to having the money. Like you were saying earlier, this is when he confesses to having the money.
Okay, there it is.
But because he's religious now, he refuses to give it to him.
Right.
Because criminal's obviously like, all right, well, where are we going to meet up to get the money? He's like, nah.
That was a mistake. I think the right thing, he could have done the right thing by giving the money back to him, just been like, look, I'm out of this game.
Right. But instead he says, what we did wasn't right. And criminal's like, you better give me that money or I'm going to,
Yeah.
But he just hangs up and he runs off. So pregnant girl now talks to the pastor's wife about how she was tricked into trying to get an abortion. She was tricked into it. She was taken to the clinic. And they're like, we're going to get rid of this baby. But she ran away because she didn't want to do that, which is her choice.
Her choice, her right, her body.
Right. But it was just really, really good. Do you think it was going to work?
Oh my God. Let's strap her down?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Ironically, one side of the issue does want to strap people down, at least metaphorically.
Yeah.
All right, so she ran away.
Talk about it.
She ran away, and mostly because everyone was telling her that, it was so wrong for her to have a baby, and that's how she wound up in that alley. So, we're now at the shelter for poor folks, and this is where Sybil Shepherd and her giant old man husband join Lily and Mom for lunch, because Lily and Mom are at the shelter, and they're getting, soup or whatever. And then for whatever reason, the old guy's like, I'm going to go hang out and eat lunch with them.
Wait, who does that to who?
The old couple.
Yeah.
With Lily and her mom, Mira Sorvino.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. But they're volunteering at this kitchen thing. Okay, right. Okay.
And so they go eat lunch together, and we'll see where that goes. And then Sean Astin is joined by his date, the lawyer, and gets a word about the lawsuit regarding the EMT. So they talk about it some, basically.
This is where we find out that she's the one who's going to be the lawyer.
Yes.
Yes.
And so...
representing the wife of the dead man.
So the pregnant chick and the pastor's wife talk about how they can't have kids and have always considered adopting. So I'm going to go ahead and consider this storyline wrapped right up.
Yep.
And because it's raining outside, Sybil's husband, this is late at night, but they were told earlier that Lily and her mom only have the car to sleep in, and it even leaks a little bit when it rains.
Yeah.
But that's what they sleep in. So it's raining outside, and it's late at night, and he's like, I'm going to go get them, because you got to help people when you can.
Right.
And so he goes out and he finds their car, because they described it. It's this ugly old red or orange.
Yeah, it's pretty distinct.
So he goes in and he says, you can stay here for basically the indefinite future. So I'm going to consider that storyline wrapped up. And I wrote here, this thing's finally coming together after 65 minutes.
Yes. It's all pieces are falling into place.
Not everyone here is gone, but honestly, the old people storyline, it's over.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't need to know anymore. And so Pretty Boy comes by the church looking for the pastor, Pastor Ted, and he gives him the bag of money. And obviously the pastor's like, we can't accept this. This is literally blood money. But Pretty Boy points out that he can't keep it either, and the church can use it to at least do some good.
Right.
And so as he's leaving the church, he's noticed by some of his fellow blacks. And they call
street thugs.
They call Criminal to, tell him, like, what's Pretty Boy doing in this church? And so Criminal quickly pieces it together that the church now has his bag of money.
Right.
I'm not sure it quite tracks, but it is true, so.
Right. Well, he references his aunt who, fell into, wasn't it his aunt or something? He had an auntie who...
Oh, that's right. And the first thing they did...
The first thing she did when she converted was give all of her money to a televangelist.
That's true. Okay,
right.
So
he has some experience.
So we're going back to the EMT. And now him and the nurse are fighting really bad about his decision to refuse to apologize for giving a dying man the gift of Christ. And she appears to leave him. She grabs her shit and she's out. Despite it not really even being a thing yet. And I was just like, this woman has no chill.
I don't really remember that.
Yeah, they're fighting and he's like, I'm not going to apologize. And she's like, well, you should. And he's like, I'm not gonna because of Jesus. He's like, fine, I'm out. And she leaves.
Well, they had been arguing. They started, when we first meet them, they're arguing about money. So money is an issue, and he's potentially
okay.
losing his job because
But, like, he hasn't even done it yet. Like, at least give the man a chance.
But he's saying that he's not going to.
I know, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, but he's telling her that he's not going to try to save his job whatsoever.
But maybe it'll work out and he won't lose all of his money.
Because of Jesus. Because magic.
Yeah, so just believe in the magic for a little bit. I'm just saying, don't leave the guy before.
Oh, I mean,
What
I
if,
don't know, man.
what if by some weird fluke, he wins and she owes him $20,000?
She's already walked away and she's like, damn, it could have been my money.
Could have been my $20,000, damn it. And that's why you stick around.
Yeah, but I get why she's mad.
No, she should be mad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, straight up leaving your husband seems like a strong reaction in this circumstance.
I wasn't, in my head, I didn't think that she had left him. I thought she was just...
She left.
She left the room. I think she left the house. I think
she left.
Okay, you're saying that with confidence. She didn't have luggage.
I am confident. But PTSD guy and suicide girl bond as he tells sad war stories. And Joe goes to the hospital where Sean Astin tells us that he's got leukemia, stage 4, and he's an actual prisoner who is out on compassionate release. Which is if you don't know, it's a concept where when you're very, very sick and not considered a danger to society, they'll just let you out and be like, you're going to die, so...
Right.
Bye.
Die in a forest.
Yeah, go die, with people instead of in a prison.
Right, or on a bench.
And his night spent outside looks like a real mistake now because the time he had left might have been reduced from a few weeks to just a few days. So basically, he fucked up. But it was worth it because he helped a little girl and her mom.
Yep.
So he sends a little angel statue that he had in his apartment to Lily at the old people's house. How he knows they're there, who cares, doesn't matter.
Did we talk about the angel statue before?
No.
Because they find it. Lily finds it when they're digging through his cabinets. They're digging through his cabinets looking for cereal or something to eat before he comes over. And she's like, look, there's a big thing of money. Because he has like a jar of money, in his house, like in his cabinets. And when he comes home, she's like, why do you have so much money in a jar? And he's like, well, it's not really the money that's important to me. It's this. And he reaches into the jar of money and pulls out a little angel statue that apparently he had made. He had crafted himself. And I'm like, I guess the angel was put in the money to protect the money?
Yeah, who knows? But he
never comes up again. Well, the angel comes up, but...
The money doesn't, yeah. So now he sends the angel statue to the little girl with a note saying that he's leaving. So mom goes to find him in the hospital to realize that he's dying. And so pastor gets a call from that the pregnant chick is about to have her baby when Pretty Boy's partner breaks into the pastor's office and points a gun at him.
Yes.
Criminal. He points a gun right at him. And pastor, of course, gives him the money. And so we all know that criminal's going to die, right? Like, that's just got to be the way it is. Like,
I mean, no.
I was like,
criminal?
I was like, this guy's totally going to die. He's pointing a gun at the pastor. He's dead.
No, I thought the pastor might have gotten shot, though.
There was a moment where you thought about it, because pastor does get a moment, just like Delroy Lindo from earlier, where the criminal asks him if he really believes in Jesus. Like, you really believe that?
Yeah.
You really just bet your life on it?
Uh-huh.
And the pastor stands up for his convictions. And once again, bad guy thug man does not shoot him. So that's nice.
Right. Criminals don't hang out like that just to chit-chat and test your beliefs. Give me money, fuck you. Either shoot and run or just run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess...
You really believe in that Jesus?
Yeah. But the EMT is now confronted by the lawyer woman, who asks him why he's willing to go through all of this. And he's very steadfast, and he says he's entirely willing to pay the price for his faith. And he asks the lawyer why she even cares. And she says, I really don't. I'm in it for money. And for the client, it's for hurting him. And for the city, it's to keep people like him from doing this sort of thing again.
Right.
So everyone's throwing him under the bus. She's just like, look, I'm getting paid. She's going to hurt you because she wants to.
Right.
And the city just doesn't want this to come up again.
Right.
And so we cut to the end of the events of the day, and she's already crushed him in court. He's lost everything. Mm-hmm. They don't show her crush him, but it is assumed. And she gloats just a little bit to just rub it in a little further about how she's ruined his entire life. And so now Joe and Mira Sorvino talk in the hospital about how he has no family. He lost his when he went to prison, because when he came out, by the time he got out, his daughter was grown and she didn't need him at all. This must be recently, I guess, because he was let out because he was dying.
Right, so yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't have a family anymore. He's basically on his own. But the good news is, Jesus has a soft spot for sinners, so he's going to be just fine.
Ding ding!
We had the same.
100%.
So Joe insists that Mom will see how much Jesus loves her one day. And he also requests to see Lily once more, which, again, would be very concerning if we didn't already know that Joe is the perfect man.
Yeah.
But it's mostly because she reminds him of his own daughter when she was young and not, grown.
Right. Not just because he really likes little girls.
Yes, it's not quite that weird, although it's still weird.
It's still weird.
I still don't think you should imprint on girls who are not your girls.
Right.
It's not. Sorry, it's not.
It's weird.
It's weird. So we're going back to PTSD guy and Suicide Girl, and he pulls away from their romance because he can't remember what it's like to feel anything but shame. And of course she's like, I want to help, let me help. And he's like, no, I can't let you do that.
I guess this whole thing is he's just afraid. He can't stay over or sleep anywhere because he's scared he's going to attack someone.
Maybe. I don't know.
You just say that. Just say that. Yeah, like, I have a tendency to attack people when I sleep.
Yeah, don't touch me. I'm asleep on the couch or, well, I don't know, whatever.
Right. Not just, no, you can't help.
I can't let you do this. And she even asked him, literally, all teary-eyed, like, don't do this.
Right.
And he really cares about her, he says, and that's why he has to go.
Yep.
He's too broken.
So dramatic.
It is. But of course she points out, we're all broken.
True.
And it's a very big hug, and he slips her his cross in her pocket without her knowing before he leaves.
Sneaky military
Sneaky
move.
little boy.
Yes.
So we're about 90 minutes in, so we're almost done.
Woohoo.
And Pretty Boy is confronted by Criminal once more, who reveals that he got the money from the pastor and asks Pretty Boy what is going on with you. So he explains that they can't go back to doing the same stuff they did before, but this time they're confronted by the gang leader that Pretty Boy let escape earlier. His name is like, I don't know, Santiago or something. It's like
I have no idea.
Yeah. While confronted by him, he pulls a gun, Pretty Boy jumps in front of Criminal and gets shot a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So he's dead, or at least going to die.
Yeah.
And his last word before Criminal watches the life drain from his eyes is, believe.
Yeah.
So he just wants him to believe. And now he doesn't have a choice. I mean,
it was the dying last wish of his best friend.
You have to.
Right.
And of course, both the bad guys escaped. Criminal, knocked him down and the gun got away, so they both ran. They're like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, well, no, he runs, and then the guy chases after him.
Oh, did he? Did he get his gun back? He did, yeah. He dodged a couple bullets. You're right.
Dodged more than a couple. They just run through the entire city.
Well, 4 of them are in Pretty Boy. And most guns hold, 9.
I'm not telling you. I'm not arguing what they're capable of in real life.
Oh,
I'm saying in this movie, he just shoots at him from as soon as he has him in sight. He's shooting at him.
That's fair.
As they run through the entire city.
Okay. Well, PTSD guy is now picked up by a trucker, while Suicide Girl looks fondly at the city in her giant apartment with a balcony and everything.
This is what I'm saying. Do we know what city this is? I thought maybe Detroit.
I'm not sure.
I didn't recognize it, but I know the fire department guys, it said MPD, so it could be Michigan.
Yeah. Okay, let's say Detroit.
We'll say Detroit.
But she discovers the cross in her pocket when she reaches inside. And this prompts her to ask God to show her that he really is God after all. And I guess this is answered by the next scene. Because all of our remaining characters, except for basically Suicide Girl, are involved in a massive car crash that should kill everyone on screen.
You know why they're in the car crash, right?
No. What caused it?
The guys chasing each other. Criminal's trying to get away. He's dodging bullets. The dude's shooting at him, and he just he darts across the street to try to get away, but he gets shot in the street and falls. And then there's a woman texting. I think it was the lawyer woman was looking at her phone and looks up and smashes into a car that had screeched to a halt to not hit him. Mm-hmm. So Criminal doesn't get hit, but then the bad guy who's crossing the road gets hit hard by one of the other people that we know.
So he's dead.
Yes, he's dead. And then slowly everybody else we've met in this thing, they're the old couple, or the couple trying to take the pregnant girl to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Pastor and his wife.
Yeah, they're on the way to the hospital. He's speeding. He ends up in the crash. They get hit from behind too. The old couple taking the girl to go see Joe in the hospital. They get actually knocked off the side of the bridge halfway, so they're doing that dangle thing that's terrifying. Mm-hmm. Who else is there?
The EMT gets there because he's an EMT,
right?
And PTSD guy is there in the truck.
Yeah, PTSD guy had gotten into it, had hitchhiked with a trucker,
right?
And the truck pulls up. He's like, "Pull over!" And he got out and started immediately helping.
Right, and that's I think everybody.
That's everybody.
The mom of Lily is in the hospital with Joe.
Right.
Pretty Boy's dead.
Right.
And Suicide Girl's just looking out,
So,
just over the lake.
Right, where we are now. Lawyer lady is unconscious.
Yes, and PTSD guy and EMT are now going to help.
Right.
Because they're here to help. And so everyone, there's a truck and it explodes, or it sets on fire at least.
No, it was the lawyer woman's car catches on fire.
Oh, that's what does it.
Yeah, and fire department guy runs over and gets her out of the car before it explodes.
So this is the crash moment.
That's what I'm saying. And so he gets her out of the car. He has her over, and he hears PTSD guy calling for help because he was trying to get the car he was trying to prevent the car from falling off the edge. Mm-hmm. And nothing was stopping the old couple from shuffling around the entire time, making it worse constantly.
I see, yeah. The old guy's leg was broken. Right,
yes, but the little girl was almost out. He was getting her out, and then the car exploded in the background, and she screamed and fell back in. Mm-hmm. And then the old couple was turning around and looking and trying to open their doors. I'm like, hold the fuck still! Have you never seen Rescue 911? Hold still. So PTS guy starts losing control of the car and it starts to slip again. And at this point, fire department guy runs over and he also puts his weight on the back of the car to hold it down. Then other people come and help.
Right. And they get Sybil Shepherd and the little girl out.
Right.
And then the old guy has his leg broken, so he's like, just leave me behind.
Yeah, they're like, no, just try.
Just try a little bit. And he does try a little bit, and they get him out.
Yeah, and he gets out. Everybody's out. Everyone's safe.
So everyone's fine. Then the car falls, obviously, because you have to have the car fall.
Well, yeah, once they get off the car, there's nothing holding it up there anymore.
So it's bye. Yeah. So the car falls into the thing, and it's really dramatic, and everybody's fine, except for all the criminal who died. Not criminal.
Well...
The criminal.
The criminal, not criminal. The baddest of the bad, yeah.
The C criminal is dead. The K criminal is alive.
Yes. And then the pastor couple and the pregnant girl. This whole time all this is happening, she's giving birth in the back seat, and there is a lot of blood.
Yep, and so she does give birth. This pastor apparently knows how to deliver babies, so that's nice for him.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a pretty harrowing but natural process.
I could do my best in a situation like that.
It is what humans are built for. It's just also a nightmare.
Right. Nothing I ever want to ever have to see her do.
But she gives birth, but she loses too much blood in the She loses too much blood in the process, and so she's dead. And that was not what I expected.
Well, she said, but right after, she says, you said you always wanted...
Yeah. To reiterate.
Yeah. She's like, you said you always you wanted to be there when your baby was born. I think you just were. And then died.
She may as well cough up blood hilariously.
Yeah, I know.
But to keep mixing it up, just a little bit, because like I said, there's a couple swerves in here to throw me off.
Yeah.
Joe also dies before the little girl ever gets to the hospital. He just straight up croaks in this scene.
Because we will cut from the scene to... Mira Sorvino talking to Joe. Joe flatlines.
Just dead.
Right. Sean Astin comes in. It's like, when was he pronounced dead? Okay.
Yeah, right now.
Right.
But we're gonna go back to the hospital.
Okay.
But among the car crash people is the lawyer, as we talked about, who destroyed EMT's life. And she asks him why he saved her. And, he quotes the Bible at her, love your enemies.
Right.
Treat them, and he says that...
it's literally my job.
Also, it's literally my job.
You were on fire.
And he says that he'll be praying for her. And this is when Sean Astin comes in and he records Joe's death himself. And he huffs a little bit when he notices Joe's religious paraphernalia. He has a cross.
Yeah.
Sean's like, God damn it! Fucking guy! I was like,
they're everywhere!
These fucking people! He's so mad.
No, his character is ridiculous. I will love Sean Astin forever, but this is a ridiculous character.
But then, just as everyone's quit on this guy, Joe fucking wakes up. He comes back to life after being dead for 8 minutes.
Dead.
Dead.
No heartbeat, no brain function.
So it is a gosh darned miracle. And of course, they're talking about it. Sean Astin's like, we gotta figure out what the fuck happened to you, if you're still okay. And Joe's like, I know I'm fine.
No,
I can feel it.
It's just we get the idea. There's I don't know if this is just me, but I got the idea that he had seen something in the afterlife, and maybe Jesus was like, got that cancer no more.
I fixed it, bud.
Yeah, because Sean Astin was just wanting to run panels. He was just like, let's, run panels, let's find out what this thing is. He's like, don't bother. I know I'm fine.
No, that's exactly probably what, because they don't explain it, but he's just like, no, we're good.
We're supposed to believe that he is actually free of cancer now, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Magic. Josh.
Fucking
magic. That's not miracle. That right there is straight magic.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Is it theoretically possible? Sure. But am I going to believe it before we run some tests? No! Because I'm not a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, but also it's just like you died. Nothing's changed except for that you died and woke up again.
Yeah, we don't know.
There's literally no way for your cancer to be gone.
Do you have some sort of weird cancer that makes it look like you're dead for a while and then you wake? Like, we don't know. That's why we have to run tests.
Right, and he thought there was a bacterial infection too on top of that, which was what actually killed him because of his immunity to being down. But whatever, okay. Magic.
But whatever. Joe knows he's fine. And Sean Astin is the only one in the room, including the nurse. Oh, she wasn't in the car crash because she's a nurse. She was at the hospital. But nurse and Mira Sorvino and Joe and everyone else is like, obviously it's a miracle. Sean Astin's like, no. At least not yet. We haven't even done basic research on whether or not it's a miracle. He could literally die at any time because we don't know he's healthy. We just know he's alive.
Yeah, this is where he makes sense.
Whatever. But Joe's happy for a second chance, however long it is, because I still believe he's going to be dead in 20 minutes.
Agreed.
But PTSD guy goes to see Suicide Girl now that he's saved all those people on the bridge, and they are reunited, and they're so much in love and stuff and other things, who knows?
Yeah.
But he's just, I'm doing this.
She's like, oh my god, what happened? It's a long story.
But I'm here for you, baby.
He didn't say that part.
I know. But he implied it.
He meant it.
With the butt rubbing.
And he didn't touch anybody's butt.
He did touch her butt.
He was going to touch her butt later.
He gonna touch that butt.
Later behind closed doors.
But the EMT catches his wife at the hospital because she's crying in the chapel over the miracle that she just witnessed because he obviously accompanied a lot of the people to the hospital. And she apologized to him for ditching him. She's like, I'm sorry, I overreacted. I shouldn't have abandoned you.
Yeah, you think?
This is why I know that she left. She didn't just walk out of the room.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she apologized later for being like, I shouldn't have left.
Yeah.
Not, I'm sorry for yelling at you a little bit.
Right.
And then Lily gets to the hospital and she sees Joe, and then he dies immediately. I'm kidding. That's not what happens. But it would actually be more convincing if it was the case. Mm-hmm. Like, you want me to believe it's a miracle?
Yeah.
I might be more believing if he dies for 8 minutes, comes back to life, little girl gets there, they talk for a few minutes, and then he dies again.
Yeah, just like he came back, he just had to see Lily one more time.
This was his real purpose.
Yeah.
But Lawyer begins to read the Bible in the chapel because she was so inspired by the EMT. And so Sean Astin comes to check in on her and make sure that she's okay from the car accident, and she breaks up with him for not believing. Mm-hmm. Basically.
Yep.
And this is when I thought, obviously, he's gonna be like, well, what's in this Bible thing? But nope, he's just alone.
Go back to hating everybody.
And lastly, the last thing we see is Pretty Boy's partner, Criminal, has turned from his wicked ways as the cops come to talk to him, and they're like, we're gonna, figure it out. And he's like, that's fine, I'm done with this life. He's crying.
Yeah.
He's like,
he's a good actor, though.
He's a good actor. It's just funny. It's like kind of a goofy scene.
A little bit.
Like, I heard you were in a fucking around the city chase and you got shot and everyone's dead. He's like, I'm done with this. Take me to prison.
The guy, the doctor was like, it says here your name is Criminal? And he goes, it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Sorry.
No, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, it's funny. And the last thing we see is Delroy Lindo walking through the seats with his giant cross. Mm-hmm. That's it. Movie's over.
I guess he was God the whole time.
He brought them to God. He's a messenger.
Oh. Messenger. I thought he was just God.
Let's talk about the best. Let's talk about the worst.
Okay.
What's the best?
So much fun rescue action.
There was good rescue action.
I love it. I love fucking rescue action. It's probably why I love natural disaster movies so much. It's all rescue action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My best is going to be the relatively minor but somewhat amusing sometimes changes to all of everyone's endings.
Yeah, okay.
Like pregnant girl giving birth to a baby and giving it to pastor and wife. Obvious. But no, she dies.
Dies so that she can't even change her mind.
Sean Astin getting dumped by his girlfriend. Obvious.
Yeah.
Converting is what I expected, but he's like, I'm just gonna go be mean in the hospital some more. Criminal's ridiculous ending. That's funny.
Yes. I was.
Who else had Joe's revival.
Oh, right.
It's so absurd.
The most absurd one.
Loved it.
Right. But again, imagine if you took God out of this movie and replaced God with crystals.
Yeah, or sheer will.
People who start believing in crystals and suddenly magic fucking starts happening. I'd watch the hell out of that series.
So my best is going to just be all the somewhat twists they put on the endings.
Yes, I dig it.
What's your worst?
Worst? I don't know, man. I'm so used to there being so many worsts that I can't choose.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate anything about this. Really, aside from just how, fucking cheeseball these kind of movies always are.
Yeah.
Just like, believing God, I don't know. It's like, it's not even believing in God with these things. It's more like, I literally think that belief in God means magic fucking happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Let's see, my worst would probably
just annoying.
My worst is probably just, honestly, it's crowded. It's really long. 2 hours, and that's not really long for a movie. It was long for this type of movie.
Yeah.
And there's too many characters. You could have done this with significantly less.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I said, a lot of the characters don't matter. Technically they all do. They all do something. It's like, man, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I think they handled it well, like keeping everything balanced.
That's what I mean.
With
like,
that many characters,
everyone
but
did
you're
do
right,
something.
We didn't need everybody.
It's not like
I love seeing Mina Suvari. God damn it! Every time Mira Sorvino and Mina Suvari need to change one of their names.
They're going to actually just swap first names?
I love her.
So it's going to be Mina Sorvino.
No, don't do this. Do not get that in my head. Sean Astin and Mira Sorvino, I think, are awesome, and I love them very much.
I
loved all of the actors, honestly, but I just, I don't see Mira in anything, and I'm definitely going to go watch Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion at some point this week.
I might change my actual best to Sean Astin's character, because he's hilarious. He's so mad all the time.
So true.
He's so angry.
He's at a fancy restaurant, he can't even enjoy his meal. He's so...
They're 12 feet away and they're praying!
Those people in my peripheral vision believe in God and I can't eat.
I would have been it would not be surprising if you went to, the maitre d' and was like, will you tell them to stop?
And either they go or I do.
They go or I do, and I'm a doctor.
I'm basically God.
It's just he was so ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous.
Alright, so let's talk about some things that are like this that one should watch.
Okay,
or you can just say this.
San Andreas.
The earthquake movie?
Yes.
Okay.
So much rescue action. Way more engaging.
Raw rescue action.
Yeah. Or, if you want to watch an ensemble cast like this, or, one of those, there's 25 characters all intertwined. Love Actually is one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm. But I like your way of sticking to the rescue action.
Yeah.
So let's see. What's the best rescue action?
There's so many.
There are a lot.
Let's say Dante's Peak. Let's say...
The TV show Rescue 911.
Yes, the original.
I haven't seen it. Oh, yes, the original. But they also have a new series.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
It's not the version
It's dramatized, though, right?
It's just dramatized,
I don't care about that at all.
It's rescue action. It's just not real.
I don't like the TV ones so much. Movies?
I haven't seen
or
it. I don't know.
true ones, like Forensic Files type stuff. Let's see. What else? I really loved Hurricane Heist.
That's not so much rescue action, though. That's more...
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous action.
What about The Day After Tomorrow?
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to be watching that sometime soon, too. That's just how I feel the Earth is going.
All right, so you get
I hope Dennis Quaid is coming for me.
You get 5 recommendations this week.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
All of the natural disaster movies.
So let's talk about what we were doing next week. Hillary, tell me what it is.
Is it on the inside? Dante's Inferno.
That's right.
I just said Dante's Peak.
I know. I thought it was weird when you did it.
Fuck yeah. What version? What is this?
It's not a book.
Video?
This is a video game. But
oh, right on. You told me about this.
I don't expect you to play it because that requires a lot of skills that you don't really have.
I will watch you play it.
You can either do that, or you can watch the cool thing I found on YouTube, which is just a movie version of the game.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can watch that.
Are you going to play it?
I have played it, and I will probably try to refresh my memory.
Okay.
So I'll talk about the gaming parts of it.
Yeah.
You'll know at least what the premise is and see some of the gameplay yourself, even if you won't necessarily have experienced it.
Right. Do you just play through the circles of hell?
Yeah, basically.
That's rad.
Let's see, the Grim Reaper kidnaps your wife or your betrothed, and so you go to hell to get her back. I don't know.
Oh, so we get a little Greek mythology in there too.
That's my 6 years ago memory of it. So we'll see what really happened. But
awesome. I look forward to that.
We're gonna talk about that. It might be interesting, maybe.
Yeah.
It is on the playlist we use for everything. But as always, if you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast app or service you are using, and tell your friends and your foes and all your family about us.
Yeah.
Or anything else you can do. Get a sticker and put it on a stop sign. People like to do that. I don't know why.
Write our website on a cross and drag it through a city.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That actually would be awesome.
Links to everything are on the description of this episode. That's our social media and our website where you can send us a comment or a question so that we can do a mailbag. Or you can just yell at us or question us or whatever.
Yeah.
As always, do you have anything you want to say to the people?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate your freaking faces.
Thanks, guys.
And bye.
Bye.